What are some common misconceptions about umbrella coverage?
One being that it could cover property insurance, or it's just a blanket coverage that just gives you $1 million for whatever claim. And that's not true. It's just on those liabilities.
That's what I thought it was, honestly. Yeah.
And that can be a little bit confusing because right at the beginning, I said that it was an umbrella. And so you think okay, this is my umbrella. Yeah. It's protecting me from what I have. That's not the case on everything.
Yeah.
It is that liability side.
Welcome to Lawrence Real and Local, Keeping It Real podcast presented to you by the Lawrence Board of Realtors. We're your go-to source for all things real estate in Lawrence, Kansas.
Together, we're here to make the journey to home ownership a breeze. Join us as we share insider insights, expert advice, and a dose of fun along the way.
Okay, welcome to Lawrence Real and Local, Keeping It Real podcast by the Lawrence Board of Realtors. And this is a special episode because we are joined by another Lexi.
Yes.
Lexi Myers with Maxia Insurance Agency. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here today.
Yeah. So it's so funny. I actually met Lexi at a coffee shop. And I was just sitting there meeting with someone else, and she's like, "Hey, I heard you guys were talking about blah blah blah. I'm actually blah blah blah. Let's connect." And I was like,
"Yeah,
oh, that's awesome! I love that."
Not me just eavesdropping to build some relationships.
Called out. No, I love that. That's so awesome.
Because she's a person of my own heart. So
yeah, no, that is totally something this Lexi would do too.
Yeah.
So
great. So completely vibed with it. But yeah, give us a little bit about your background and how you got into this. How long you've been in it. Love it.
Absolutely. So my name is Lexi. I have been in insurance for about 6 years now, been in the financial kind of world for about 11. So bounced back and forth a little bit between insurance and the financial side of things, and landed back in insurance, kind of figured that insurance makes sense to my brain, and there's not a lot of people that enjoy insurance and understand insurance, so I should probably just stay put. And so I actually do enjoy insurance. I really do enjoy being able to explain insurance to people.
Well, that's
and make sure that people, you should know what you're buying. You should know how to protect the assets that you have.
Absolutely.
And so that's something I really try to focus on.
That's awesome. And being able to explain it is huge because, those insurance documents are quite large sometimes where you're like, I just want to know if it's going to cover this. Yes. Please.
Yeah. All the just legal talk in there. It's so much. Even for me, I have, I've been in insurance for a long time, and I'll read through things and I'm just like,
what did I read?
Yeah, it's hard. So just knowing and being able to understand it, and then being able to communicate that in a way for people to understand. Both my parents are teachers, so that kind of helped.
I used to be a teacher.
Yes. Yeah. So you understand the need to just be able to take a thought that you understand and then be able to communicate it to everybody else.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's awesome. The first time that I worked with Lexi and then saw her email back, I was like, wow, she broke it down. This is my girl. This is my girl. So, she's really good at breaking it down. So I'm excited about this.
Break it down? Are we in dance?
Yeah.
Just kidding. Okay.
Break it down now.
Sorry.
Boom. Okay. Let's move on. So we've already had an insurance episode in our last season. So we just decided to do an insurance deep dive.
Yeah.
Because again, people don't really know too much about insurance, what they should have covered. Umbrella policies are starting to become more popular.
Yeah.
So, let's just get into that. So what is an umbrella policy?
Yeah. So an umbrella policy is really, it explains itself well. If you just think about an umbrella where it is covering you, it doesn't matter what's underneath it, it's covering it. So what it is it's an extension from the policies that you have underneath it. So your auto insurance, your home insurance, you have a boat, rental properties, whatever those policies are, it extends the liability on those. So if you have $500,000 in coverage on your home insurance for liability, if you have a claim that exceeds that amount, then the umbrella policy kicks in. So that's kind of what you're looking at from just a broad spectrum of it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So who might benefit most from having one?
Yeah. Honestly, everyone can. There are specifics as to kind of situations where you would want to have more. There are liability limits that you are required to have underneath your umbrella policy to make sure that the umbrella policy is not just kicking in really quickly. So there are amounts that insurance companies do require for that. Ultimately, anybody can be in a bad car accident. We've driven on K10 and seen some of the drivers are on 70, where you have a lot of risk to be driving your car. And if you cause an accident, it can get really expensive really fast.
Yeah.
If you have a dog, I have 2 dogs. I love dogs. They can be triggered at a point where they can do some damage if that were to happen.
Yeah.
You would need to have good liability. If you have people just coming over to your house, when they trip on a sprinkler and you're
jumping on your trampoline.
Yeah, there are a lot of things where people can get hurt, and it is expensive to get hurt. It causes, you have medical bills, you have loss of work, you have pain and suffering, you have legal fees that go into actually finding the liability. There's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah.
So anybody could, but really anybody that has assets to protect, if you own your home, if you have, investments, those kinds of things, you want to make sure that you have insurance to protect those things. So,
yeah. And then those assets, would that kind of decide how much coverage you would want to get then?
Absolutely. Okay. You really want to make sure that your assets that you have are equal the umbrella policy should be equal or greater to the assets that you have. So if you own a $500,000 house, even if you have a loan on it, but you have that house, that's still your asset that you have. You want to have $1 million. And that's kind of a typical policy for an umbrella is $1 million in liability coverage.
Okay.
But there are people that need more than that. And we, like the companies that I work with, we can go up to $5 million on that policy without having to go to a specialty carrier.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Perfect. So how does that necessarily differ from the traditional home and auto insurance?
Yeah. So one of the things that's important to know is that an umbrella policy is only liability. So it's not going to cover if you have a deer that hits a car or your house burns down, something like that, where you're looking at property.
Yeah.
Liability has nothing to do with that. The umbrella is not going to kick in, even if your insurance is not enough on that side.
Gotcha.
It's just going to kick on the liability where you are found legally responsible for something.
Yeah.
So those limits are really where that comes in. So again, if you have a car accident, that's really where we see umbrellas kicking in the most. Yeah. Where they have, $500,000 is the max accident payout. If you have 2 people that are in the car, you're having a large, that can really add up. Anything that your liability, when it's exhausted on your policy, anything beyond that, you are financially responsible. So people's wages can get garnished. That's where houses can get taken away. Things can get really bad really fast.
Yeah.
So that's where that umbrella policy kicks in to give you that extra $1 million, $2 million, whatever that amount is that you decide with your agent.
Yeah.
To be able to give you that extra coverage to make sure that you are protected.
Yeah. Well, I know you didn't mean to, but now I'm sitting here and feeling like a little scared.
And ultimately,
she'll be contacting you for the policy after this episode.
And that's ultimately part of what insurance is like mitigating your risk.
Yeah.
Figuring out what you feel comfortable handling on your own and what you don't feel comfortable handling on your own.
Yeah.
Getting coverage for that. And that's, my goal is never to scare people into getting insurance coverage.
I'm scared right now.
Well, I was
not my sales technique.
I was just sitting there thinking, and I was like, oh my God, this is stuff that could happen. Cause even with that dust storm that happened a little bit ago too. And
it caused accidents.
Yeah. 77
I know.
cars.
Yeah. Yep.
I didn't know it got that high.
Yeah,
that is insane.
It was a lot.
They shut down I-70 completely. It was
bad.
Awful.
Yeah.
I had a friend that drove past it too, and they didn't even know that it happened. You could see it was bad. But with that, liability insurance could have kicked in with some of those people too. And
I'm sure.
It's just wild. So, not trying to be morbid or anything, but if somebody passes away or something, could that even help cover some funeral costs and things like that? And
anything that you are found legally responsible to cover when you are liable for that accident, or whatever it is.
You would have to be the one that caused the accident for that.
You have to be found legally responsible for it.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not sense. Just a
I was in an accident and then it would have to be that you caused it. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you get into an accident and it's not your fault, you can cross your fingers that the other person has an umbrella policy.
Well,
that's called insurance fraud.
No, not meaning like that. No, I'm saying
I was well,
no, you're like, oh God, I hope this person is actually covered.
Yeah. And that is honestly, that kind of goes to another topic on auto insurance. But you want to make sure that if you're in an accident, that person has good coverage just to make sure that you're not having to pay for something or go to court. No, I think most people don't want to go to court and take somebody's money from them, that they work hard for. But ultimately, if you have really serious injuries, that can happen.
It might be necessary.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, and there is I said that I kind of switched over to auto insurance. There are coverages that are available to you on your auto insurance, which is they're uninsured and underinsured motorist. It's liability coverage. Yeah. It is probably on your insurance coverage right now. It's a pretty typical one that's on there. It follows your liability limits for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there is that can kick in if somebody were underinsured.
Yeah. Wow.
Learned.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. I know.
Lexi's I gotta evaluate my insurance policy right now.
I need to review things. How much umbrella coverage is typical for somebody?
Yeah, usually about $1 million in liability on the umbrella side.
Yeah.
Is what we see. I just was working with a client. He has a couple more risks. He has some rental homes, so we did $2 million for him.
Yeah.
I've written up to $5 million. But that was a unique circumstance. I don't think everybody needs a $5 million liability policy.
Yeah.
It's just, it's one of those things where working with an agent that you know and you trust. It's having those conversations, having them make sure that they understand your situation. Mm-hmm. That's where really you're going to determine that. But $1 million is a general umbrella policy. I would say 90% probably of the umbrella policies we write are $1 million.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So, what are individuals looking for when shopping for an umbrella policy?
Yeah.
Or is it something that you're normally doing their other policies and then it's something that you have that discussion and bring up? Because I don't know how common it is for someone to just walk in and be like, I want an umbrella policy. I feel like probably not pretty common. Yeah.
No. Usually you bundle them together. Now, to be fair, all of my experience has been in an independent insurance agency. So I work with multiple carriers. So this is kind of going from a broad perspective. And all of my knowledge of umbrella insurance is based off of the carriers I write with.
Yeah.
So any other carriers could differ, but this is a fairly industry standard. But always good to just check with your agent or your company to make sure that this is actually right. Mm-hmm. But when you're looking for an umbrella policy, yes, usually it is bundled with your home and auto. Most carriers require for your home and auto to be with them so they can make sure that the liability limits match what they need for that umbrella policy. So usually on the auto, they require your liability limits to be $250,000/$500,000. So that is the highest that most carriers will go. On the home side, usually they require $300,000. Some require $500,000 on the liability for the home. So they want that to be packaged so they can always monitor that. We do have a carrier that is a standalone umbrella carrier. They only write umbrella policies.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah. So we have to send proof into them each year to show that. But ultimately, that's just what they specialize in. They like it. And that's great.
Yeah,
so it's good for those people. Yeah. And it's great for those people that maybe their auto is really good with one carrier. Yeah. Their home's good with another. But they want that umbrella. That can get tricky. And that's why we added them in to be able to give options to people because one carrier doesn't usually fit everybody.
Yeah. Makes sense.
We love options.
Yes.
Yes.
I say that as a broker myself.
Right.
And as a realtor, there's lots of options for homes. So really, we all love options.
We all love options. So what factors do insurance companies consider when they're doing the underwriting for the umbrella policies?
Yeah. The big ones that they're looking for are, they want to know how many homes you own, how many cars you own, how many drivers are on there. Those are all things that affect the rating of it. If you have any accidents, tickets, things like that, they want to know that.
Sorry, I'm laughing
Like
because that came back to bite me. And it was just one that I did myself. I literally ran into my garage, but I had to get it fixed on insurance because it was too much. It corroded my lights on my car, on my taillight. Anyways, so I was just giggling because I was like self-reflecting there.
To be fair, they're not as worried about those kinds of claims, like liability claims are, yes. Or, patterns showing bad driving behavior. I don't know, there's a better way to say that than just like
have patterns.
Aggressive driving, things like that, or a lot of tickets.
Yeah.
Because generally aggressive driving leads to more accidents or more expensive accidents.
Yeah. Makes sense.
And I say that as a fairly aggressive driver. So I'm not calling anybody out. I get in trouble with my husband often. That's like, you need to calm down.
I was going to say, so when I first started with my insurance, they actually tracked my driving every single time that I drove for it was like 90 days or something like that. So whenever
wild.
I was in the car, it would automatically turn on and it would track like how fast I was driving, how fast I was stopping at stop signs and all of that.
Yeah. That's becoming more and more common with carriers. Really? It's not required. It's an option to have because a lot of them give you like a 10% discount up front.
If you're like considered to be found good.
So it's like an automatic discount. At the beginning.
Yeah.
And then it tracks your driving habits.
If you're on your phone.
If you're on your phone, that's a big one they don't like.
Yeah.
And then it will give you like a grade. And then some carriers, we have one carrier.
I got an A.
Good job.
Wow.
I'm proud of you.
But that was when you were first driving, right? Like when you first started out? Or was that recently?
That was maybe like 5 years ago.
Oh. Okay.
I'd still get an A. I'm competitive.
Right.
But if you know if you're being evaluated. Anyway, I won't get into that.
Yeah. But that is becoming more common because it is essentially free information for the carrier to be able to do statistical, reporting and just say like, okay, women that live in this area that are this age tend to have these driving habits.
So that's why you see the discount when you hit a certain age.
It is. Yeah. Generally, when you hit 25, you're.
But I feel like it was just for men on mine. Like my husband got a discount, but when I turned the same age, I didn't get. Anyway, I don't know.
Oh, my husband got a discount.
It should not be by gender.
My husband got a discount for his age because he got married by a certain age, and they're like, usually if men are like this age,
okay,
yeah, because then they won't be out on the town like doing the things, driving late at night.
Oh my God.
That's funny.
So that's how my insurance person told me. He's like, yeah, he's less likely to be out on the town late at night. He's married and he's settled down now. I'm like, yeah, he was always wild. No,
I've always heard it's like people that, if you're married, you're generally more responsible because you have something that you care about at home. You want to make sure you're protecting. Yeah. Same as like if you have children in the car.
That's a nicer way of saying it.
Yeah. Like granted.
Do I get a discount for having a kid in the car now? I need to reach out.
Yeah, they say that, people are better drivers if they have kids, even though like, I feel like I'm so distracted when I have my kids in the car half the time because they're like, Mom, I want a snack.
Yeah, I'm like holding my hand, the hand back there. Yeah.
But like those things, all of that information is not really asked on an umbrella application.
Yeah,
but if you have youthful drivers, they're going to charge you a little bit more because, a 16-year-old driver, they just have less experience. They're more likely to get into an accident, which is why it's more expensive when you add them onto an auto insurance policy too.
Yeah.
It's, all based on what they've seen, their experience, ratings.
So do kids play into an umbrella policy then? Is that something that's considered?
If they're a driver.
Okay.
Then yes.
Driver
yeah.
only.
You have to put all drivers on the policies onto the umbrella. And then there are usually specific questions that ask if there are drivers under the age of 21.
Okay.
And some also ask if there are elderly drivers in the household.
Okay.
Because they have seen increased accidents in those age classes as well. So kind of the bookends they might charge a little bit more for.
And that affects the umbrella because then it would maybe trigger a higher amount for the umbrella?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is all going into how much it's actually going to cost you for the umbrella policy. If you're a pretty typical household where you have a house and 2 drivers and 2 cars, and that's about all you're looking at with a clean driving record.
Yeah.
Generally, you're looking at like $200 to $300 for an umbrella policy for $1 million.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So those, they're not really expensive.
Yeah.
As long as you have the underlying limits that you need. They can get more expensive with the more exposure you have. It's all rating. And granted, that's also the companies I work for, and work with. Like it might be higher or lower with other companies. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if somebody was going to get an umbrella policy and they're purchasing a home.
Yeah.
So would they normally add on that umbrella policy after closing, or do they do that front? What are some of the trends that you're seeing or recommend?
Yeah. Honestly, I think that if you're buying a home, that's generally a really good time to look at all your policies because you're going to be having to get a new home policy.
Yeah.
You have to. That's required if you have a loan, obviously. But also, you should just have coverage on your home. Even if you're buying it cash.
Yes.
Protect your investment.
Yeah.
But, most carriers offer discounts if you bundle your home and auto together.
Yeah.
And pretty significant discounts a lot of times.
I'm
not Flow,
I promise.
in some carriers, they actually require it too.
Yeah. And there are some that require it, especially on older homes. They want to have everything packaged together. It is definitely a carrier by carrier thing. Another reason why it's good to have an agent that knows what they're talking about. So that you don't get put in a position later where it's like,
I thought this was covered and now it's not.
Yeah, I didn't know I was going to have to do all these things.
Yeah.
But umbrella, not a lot of people just come, like you had said earlier. Yeah. Not a lot of people just come in and they're like, I want an umbrella policy today. Unless their financial advisor was like, you need to call them and get this umbrella added now.
Yeah.
Right this second.
Yes. Yeah. That's about the only time. But I think when you're buying a house is a great time to shop your insurance. Just make sure that you have the best rate. You could be with a carrier for a long time, and you see like just very steady, small rate increases, and another carrier will beat them.
Yep.
So it's a good time to shop. That being said, a lot of times we'll do the quotes, when somebody's requesting a new quote from me, we'll do the quotes all at one time and just set the same effective date. People can obviously change it if they want to.
Yeah.
But usually I find it easiest to just deal with your insurance renewals all at one time. So you're just like, okay, now is my insurance time.
Yeah.
That way you don't have to deal with insurance, which is boring.
3
and
times
not cool.
a year.
Yeah. Like you don't want to do that.
No.
Have it set for one time.
Yeah.
Then you can have one meeting with your insurance agent. Just say like, here's what's going on.
Yeah.
How often should someone be meeting with their insurance agent to kind of go over things?
I think at least annually to make sure that everything is accurate on your policies because, you can finish a basement or add a deck on your home. Those increase the value. Mm-hmm. You need to make sure that you have coverage for that. If you have tickets or accidents that get added onto your policy, that's something you want to make sure you're still with the most competitive carrier for that.
Yeah.
We have carriers that are more competitive with people who have tickets and accidents. And there are some that are really great with clean driving records.
Yeah.
That once you get a ticket or accident, they will skyrocket that rate.
Wait, does it automatically get reported in to your insurance?
Yeah. So they
Once
will
you file an insurance claim, right?
Well, they also on auto insurance, they run your MVR. So they'll get
So they run that every year. They just automatically get the notification. Like if Lexi gets a ticket tomorrow.
Yeah.
Did you just jinx me?
It's
no driving tomorrow. Just walk everywhere.
Walk everywhere.
Sorry.
Everybody hear this. Campbell just jinxed me into getting a ticket.
No, I didn't. She's an A+ driver. She just told us that.
That is true.
I'm just incentivizing you.
Right. You said you were
For
competitive.
A+ driving tomorrow.
Not all carriers run it every year. And to be fair, some auto insurance policies are a 6-month policy, not a year-long policy. So they don't necessarily run it every single time your policy renews. Some carriers do. Some do it every 2 years or every 3 years. So it just kind of depends. Yeah. If you get a ticket, if I get a ticket tomorrow, we won't put it on you. If I get a ticket tomorrow.
See, I could have been putting it on Lexi to begin with because her name's Lexi too. So, he didn't know which Lexi I was talking about.
Exactly.
Okay. Anyway.
Good job. Thank you. But if I get an accident tomorrow and my policy renews in 20 days, my renewal's already come out to me. I've already seen what that's going to be. That ticket won't be added on because it's already been, but it would be the following.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
So that's something that timing is important. Not that anybody's like planning on, okay, I'll just plan on getting a ticket tomorrow.
Like, I'm going to go, it'll be fine. I'm going to go 50 in this 30.
Right.
And
hope someone's there to
I know that cop's going to be in that church parking lot at that time.
Mm-hmm. See?
So that's how you guys do it. You just know where they're going to be and you just go.
Okay.
So, okay, what are some common misconceptions about umbrella coverage?
Yeah, I think we've hit a couple of them that are big. One being that it could cover property insurance, or it's just a blanket coverage that just gives you $1 million for whatever claim might go over your coverage limits.
Yeah.
And that's not true. It's just on those liabilities.
That's what I thought it was, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah. And that can be a little bit confusing because right at the beginning, I said that it was an umbrella. And so you think like, okay, this is my umbrella. Yeah. It's protecting me from what I have. And that's not the case on everything.
Yeah.
It is that liability side, which ultimately is the more expensive side.
Yeah.
You know, a hailstorm that comes through, it's probably going to wreck your roof, but it's not going to cost you $500,000.
Yeah.
It's going to cost you $30,000.
Yeah.
And you should have, hopefully, coverage on your roof, your replacement cost coverage on your roof with hopefully a reasonable deductible to be able to protect you from that. It's really, the umbrella is to protect you from those really expensive claims that could be life-changing for you.
Yeah.
The other one being that it's going to be a really expensive policy. I know we talked about kind of a basic price range just to kind of think about $200, $300, probably going to be up the more exposure you have. I have somebody that, theirs is about $500, but they have some kids in the household. Still ultimately $500 when you're worried about the risk for $1 million extra dollars. It's pretty reasonable. Yeah. So that's something that, I feel like when I've had conversations, people have said, no, I can't afford to add an umbrella.
And you're like, but let's talk about that.
Let's just look. And ultimately, if you don't want the umbrella,
that's your
prerogative.
Want the umbrella.
Yeah. That's 100% fine.
Yeah.
My job is, again, to educate you, to tell you what the options are, and then to help you make the decision that is best for you and your family and your future and all of those things.
But you can't go backwards and, have that accident and then be like, oh, actually, I want that tomorrow.
Right. Yeah.
So that it covered that.
Yeah.
Nope. Sorry, too late.
Right.
Yeah.
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 Wow, I think you just also did, can you share a real life scenario about umbrella policies and making significant differences? But do you have any other
Yeah. Actually, we just in the last year had one where we had a client who was in an accident on a highway, badly injured somebody that was in it. And he had great limits on his insurance, but ultimately it just got more and more expensive. Surgeries were involved, just all kinds of things that were just raising the cost. And his liability kicked in and it used the entire $1 million of that. So it was a $1.5 million claim.
Wow.
But he didn't have to pay out for anything on it.
Yeah.
Also, side note, most liability does not, on the personal line side, does not have a deductible. So when you're looking at, again, roof, you have a deductible on your roof that you have to pay before your insurance kicks in. Liability, there is no deductible.
Gotcha.
On the companies I work with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's, I know he obviously didn't expect to get into an accident.
No.
He wasn't expecting that to happen. It just happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, he was protected, which was
Essential.
great. Yeah.
So I have a question is there a period of time that, so in this scenario where he, got into an accident and somebody was having surgeries, is there a certain period of time where it's like, oh no, that only covers that crash and accident for a year? Or is it like that person could continue making claims on it? How does that work? Or is it a one-time cash out type of...
Yeah. No, that's a really great question.
Yeah.
It is dependent on each state. So this specific claim was in Missouri.
Okay.
They have a much longer statute of limitations to be able to keep coming back and adding on things from the claim. In Kansas, that's shorter. I can't remember exactly because it hasn't come up, but it's like 1 or 3 years where it's significantly shorter.
Yeah.
There is a time frame, but it's much more regulated by the claims adjuster and making sure that it has actually relevant to the claim.
Yeah.
Fair. Yeah. But it's not necessarily hey, you have a year to get everything done, because ultimately, like,
there might be long term. Yeah. Okay.
And, but that will also be handled in the court case.
Yeah.
Where if it's going to impact them for the rest of their life, then there's probably all right, well, this is how much that you're getting from this, not you can just keep coming back and being like, this is actually still hurting me.
Yeah.
You know, that is going to be decided by a judge, and they'll figure all that out.
And so mostly, like, when umbrella policies do kick in, you would have, you know, it would be more of a court case judge type.
Yes.
Okay.
Right, because you're going to be found legally liable for it.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so it's not going to be, you know, if I get into a little wreck on, you know, Wakarusa.
Yeah.
And I'm, you know, just having a police officer come, he looks at it and he's like, this is a not at fault accident. There were just 2 cars that were in the wrong place, the wrong time, got into an accident.
Yeah.
Even if, you know, somebody was, you know, maybe not wearing a seatbelt, you know, hit their windshield, something like that, it's unlikely in those kind of situations that a court case is going to ensue.
Yeah. Makes sense.
It's going to be those big pileups, bad accidents.
Yeah.
You know, that's where you see the lawyers on the side of the highway that are like, let me get you the max cash payout. And I know in their last podcast, they were talking to the other agent. She talked about rates going up and increases. That side has been a really, really big problem, because most insurance companies want to pay out what's fair.
Yeah.
But then those kind of attorneys get involved and charge a lot of money and give low payouts to their customers. And it's a bad situation. So,
Yeah.
So I was going to say, just kind of like bring it back to like the home side a little bit too. Sure. So people do not need to get individual umbrella policies for each property that they own or unit, because it just all falls under that same umbrella.
Yep. There's one umbrella policy that covers everything. So that's why you want to make sure that you know when you're filling it out how many homes that are on here. If you have a change to your policy, if you buy a new house and you already have an umbrella policy, making sure your agent, like you're getting that added on. If you add a new car or a new driver, all of those things need to be updated on that umbrella policy. Which, granted, if you have one agent, they should be doing that for you and knowing, we have this umbrella policy. Let's make sure this is accurate while we're doing all this other stuff for you.
Gotcha. Yeah. So you can change it. It's not like you're locked into the exact policy for a year. You can still alter. And,
It's similar to a home or auto policy where you can make changes or endorsements as they happen. They do give you that flexibility to be able to do that, because ultimately they want to make sure that they are charging you the right rate.
Yeah.
Because if you're adding another risk on, they're going to bump that premium up.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
As they do.
Right.
Yep. Yep.
So, Lexi, what do you want to leave us with?
Ultimately, I think knowing what your coverage is, whether it is an umbrella policy, an auto policy, home, boat, rentals, whatever your policy is, know what it means. If you don't understand it, talk to your agent. If you went online and you are handling all your other insurance, see if you can find an agent that can explain it to you and make it easy, because there are people out there that understand insurance and want to help. And then you make sure that you are protecting yourself and your assets and really just your peace of mind moving forward.
Yeah.
Because before I was in insurance, my coverage would not have done anything for me if I was in that situation. And then once I realized what it actually meant, it drastically changed the coverage that I had to make sure that I was protecting myself, my kids' future, all those things. There's a lot. So make sure that you have somebody that you know and trust.
No, it really is, because you're protecting those assets for your future, which is, if you have children, your children, like those are assets that you pass down, and you want to make sure that those stick.
I know. Yeah. You work hard for it.
Yeah.
You should make sure that you're protected.
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Well, sweet.
That's great.
Well, thank you, Lexi.
Yeah, absolutely.
And thank you to the Lawrence Public Library.
Yes.
But this was good.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Signing out.
Thanks for joining us on Lawrence Real and Local, Keeping It Real podcast. We appreciate our guests taking the time to join us. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review if you've enjoyed today's episode.
For more information, please visit us on the web at www.lawrencerealtor.com. And remember, whether you are buying, selling, or simply dreaming of your future home, we're here to help. Until next time, keep it real
and happy house hunting.